So for this one we developed our own game console. I will tell you more details about that after lunch. We shipped it to 15 stroke patients who had it in their homes for 5 weeks to do their rehabilitation training with this tool. So you can see that you control it by using very big movements like that. The games are adapted to the target group. That is people who suffered from motoric and cognitive impairment in some way. So, for example, any commercial game would be far too complicated for people who suffer from cognitive disability like a stroke. So the games are adapted to be very easy. And the whole console as such is adapted to be easy. So there should be no installation manuals, there should be no instructions, there should be only one button on and off, and that's it.
When was this console developed?
We developed it in 2008. And then we have tested it in 2009.
What about commercially available products such as like Nintendo Wii?
Yeah, that's an interesting question. This is more technology-oriented, I guess. This is one of the first things that we did because we wanted to build a demonstrator or environment that would really be good to show off for visitors, so that they could come to us and say, okay, these guys do cool stuff. So we wanted to construct a mid-range driving simulator composed from off-the-shelf computer products, off-the-shelf hardware and off-the-shelf software or adapted software. So the general idea of this one is that the car works as a generic joystick to any racing game. So you will sit in the car, you will use the car controls, but you will drive in the virtual world exactly as a fully fledged driving simulator. The difference is in technology and pricing. So when we compared this one to, for example, the driving simulator which the Swedish Transport Research Institute uses, that cost them maybe 3 million euro or something like that. So very expensive. But we think that we can get not all that functionality. For example, we have no G-forces, but we can get reasonable functionality at a fraction of that price. And I know that's pretty much the same idea that you are addressing in your ship simulator. So this is the way it looks. So you will be sitting on the driver's seat, of course, and drive. And you will have almost 360 degrees view. You will have 3 screens in front of you, 1 on each side, so you get peripheral sight, and you will have 2 screens on your back. The screens on your back, they are actually projected behind the car, which means that you will use the rear view mirrors in exactly the same way as you would do in real life. Very often the rear view mirror is a LCD screen, but here you use them as normal to look backwards. So after lunch, and this is the evaluation view where you can take a closer look at the driving, summarize some of the things that we think that we have learned from game-based training. you can actually promote cooperation by introducing games, because playing games is a very social activity. And one interesting thing, and I think that may go for cultures, but game could also be a good place to flaunt your skills. At least in Swedish culture, you should not promote yourself too much. But we have seen that when you play games, that is kind of okay. It's okay to be good. It's okay to win. So that could actually be quite relieving for cultures similar to ours. Obviously, it's a safe zone. I mean, we were talking about the magic circle, and you know that we have entered the magic circle, so you know that you can do what you want. But it can still, hopefully as we've seen from some examples, it can still be close enough to reality to be relevant. We have this film clip where you could see how you navigated in the cave, so that we had a 360 degrees field of view. This is how it is composed. It's composed from one server where the game is run and 4 clients, one client for each projector. So the actual game is only run on the server. The clients are spectators to that game, looking for different angles, and then we bring it together pretty much in the same way as the ship simulator that you have built here works for your 3 screens. Except the good thing about this is maybe then the size. This is 160 times 210 centimeters of size, so you will be completely inside the box. And you will have no edges really because of the projectors. So the edge between the screens is really minimal, centimeters or so. So it's from the inside it's really not visible. So you get a very good view actually from the simulation. So that's really the main goal that makes sense for the Rescue Services Agency to address. Because by having a simulator, they can build many more different environments to train in than they can do in live training. So we have learning objectives like entering a club building, and the learning goal is to get people aware of the engagement time. The engagement time is very limited, and the problem with really breathing up throughout the century is that once you realize that you have been in there too long, it's already too late. So it's a little bit like diving, for example. You have to plan in advance. So that's that learning goal. Then we have learning goal like this, entering hotel corridors to handle environments where you have a series of identical doors. Now that learning goal actually comes from a well-known accident in Sweden where a ship called Scandinavian Star caught fire, and when the rescue services came there, it turned out that because these were not rescue services personnel who were used to ships, and it turned out that their tactics didn't work for those types of environments.